Hi everyone, this is Esateys. I really appreciate you taking the time to be with me here today. I know if your life is a tenth of like mine, you are really loaded with a lot of things that are going on. And for you to take the few moments that you are right now to be with me, to watch this video, it means a lot to me. I just want you to really get that. Today I'm going to speak about why is money important to you? Now, part of your mind might say, well, money's not important to me. Okay, it may not be like that important to you, but it has to be important enough for you to recognize that money buys food, money buys shelter, money buys water most of the time, and it allows us to be clothed and things like that. So money is a necessity, whether we like to admit it or not. And therefore, there's a certain level of importance that we have to it. Now, for others, for some, it is basic. These are just the needs that I have. For others, it's like, well, I'd like a little more. And for others, it's like, I really want a whole bunch of stuff. Well, we are here on the planet in an ever increasingly state of expansion. We want more. We want to be more than we were before. We want to have more money. We want to have bigger and better of everything by nature. I used to feel guilty about that. I don't feel guilty about that anymore. You know why? Because it doesn't matter wherever it is that you are. We get to decide how we want to live our lives. We have the free will to actually decide how we want to live out in this, what I call the game called life. When I grew up, I was in a lot of conflict. The conflict that I was in was between the material world and the spiritual world. I grew up with a traditional piece of information, if you will, that I was not going to be spiritual if I wanted material things. And this really, I really went through this. And because of that, I knew inside I really wanted a lot of beautiful things. I love beautiful things. I love nature, but I love beautiful things on my body and around me and all of that. And I also like going places and traveling and learning and experiencing and being in life. Those things take money. And so I wanted this, I felt this desire, but my teachings, my religious teachings were that, because I grew up in a religious family until I didn't. And so the bottom line is that I was in this kind of conflict until one day I just had this aha. And I realized, because of the way it is that I frame life, it is that I know that everything is spiritual, if you will. You can use the word God, whatever word you would like to use. But the bottom line is, if that source point is all that is, then money has to be coming from that. And it's just like, whoa, it hit me. And because of that, it allowed me to accept that money was an awesome thing. It's like a great part of our experience here on the planet. So I made peace with that. Now, if I ask you, what does money mean to you, or what words come to you when I say money is, what do you say? What's the first thing that comes to you? Does your mind say money is the root of all evil? Or money is an awesome way to get what it is that I really love? Or money is an opportunity to grow? Or money is what owns me? Oh, money is what I don't have enough of. What goes on in that little mind of yours? Because that mind and that belief system and that mindset has a lot to do with how much money you have or you don't have. Because when you are not friends with money, if you have things like, I don't believe in that and I don't want that and I just want to survive, then most of the time, that's where it is that you're going to be living. So what we think about, once again, brings us back to what it is that we experience in life. Now, I personally don't know anyone that would not like more money. It's just not something that I have the experience of. And the truth is, it's not really the money that we want. What it is we want what the money we think can buy. It's the feeling we get from what it is that we can purchase. So what does that mean? It means it's not about the green dollars or the round coins that are gold or the numbers in our checking account. What it really is how we feel. And those numbers or those dollars or that gold piece, those things are things that are creating us being in a place where we are feeling a certain feeling. And what we really want, we want to feel safe. We want to feel connected. We want to feel freedom. We want freedom, and deep underneath there, there's a thought process that freedom is all about money. Well, money can buy you, if you will, certain amounts of freedom. True freedom comes from a whole nother place, which we won't take the time for today in this video to talk about. But I can tell you that it does give you the freedom to do, to go, to experience things that you otherwise wouldn't be able to do. So your question is, so how do I get more of it? If I want to travel and I want the freedom and I want to put my children in the best schools and I would like to have a new car and I love having silk against my skin, or I want the most awesome hair products or whatever, or maybe one of these, whatever it is that you want, it's going to come because of the way you are framing it and what your willingness is. How much desire and passion do you have to have what it is that you say that you want? So the first thing is experience the feeling before you have the thing. Now, that seems backwards sometimes, but the more that you can experience that freedom, the more you will experience what it takes to have that freedom. That's just the way the universe works. So if you would like to have more money, you have to start with up here. The second part is that maybe you need or want to get a job or a second job, or maybe you want to work part-time to have an adjunct to whatever it is that you want to be able to pay those bills or pay off loans, or to have an expansion of what it is that you're currently doing in your life. Well, you're either going to go out there and work for it, or you could go rob a bank, but I don't really suggest that. So we've got our mindset, and then we have the action. We need the action that is necessary to create the reality that you would like. So it's important for you to recognize these things and ask yourself, why do I want it? What does it mean to me? What will it take for me to be willing to take action to have that? And there's much more to the subject, but I can guarantee you that if you go through this and perhaps listen to this a second time, you'll start to realize that if you do these exercises I'm suggesting, that things will start to shift in you. What are your fears around money? What are your resistances around money? And you can ask yourself, because here's a question for today, is what would it take for me to allow and for me to say yes to accepting more money in my life? What would it take for me to say yes and to experience more money in our life? When you recognize that, you will be in a place where you will have the results that you want. So if you would like to know how you can be in a constant state of self-development, which is what life is about, I might add, specifically have a self-development course while receiving a paycheck, then private message me. Or tonight, on this day, you can go to www.helozoom.us, HELOZOOM.us, 6 o'clock Pacific time today. And if you miss that, or if you cannot get there, but you would like to know more about that, then I invite you very strongly to private message me, and let's have a conversation to see how we can have you get exactly what you want. So remember your question. What would it take for me to say yes to receiving more money, more freedom, more excitement and love in my life? Until next time, feel a hug.